So good evening and welcome to another days of the Dhammakaya EU or Europe with the meditation sessions for Saturday. So it's good to see everybody joining together for another sessions to cultivate inner peace together. All right. Okay. So hope you have been consistent in coming to join the Saturday sessions because he, the practice of meditation has one another point that I do not mention very often, but it is very crucial to develop our meditation experience and also deepen our practice as well. And that aspect is the consistency. Because just like imagine that you are working out, if you are gonna build up the muscles or building up your stamina, you can't just run 10 kilometers once every 6 months. Hope to be very strong. It has to be consistent. Actually, frequency is something that even very important. I usually explain that sometimes people look forward to engage in the long meditation sessions, but eventually, if the frequency of the practice matters even more. So that is actually why coming to having regular sessions at least together every week and on your own, if you can spare. Sometimes it doesn't have to be long or consistent, before bed after get up. You can, if you can manage to 5-10 minutes at least every day to keep it consistent. And then when the time comes for the Saturday sessions, then you can enhance and deepen it. In that way, you can maintain the state of the mind, being at peace, being with your inner brightness. And that's also will allow us to cultivate deep experience as well. So don't forget about that aspect about consistency that Long Paul and my master really emphasize on very much about how we can deepen our experience. And of course, with the meditation practice that you have been coming together, right, very often, you would realize already that it's not about forcing, thinking that to reach the destination, which is the ultimate goal of inner peace, you need a transportation. And your transportation in your Dhamma is simply a passenger. And the transportation is the method of meditation. And the transportation has two wheels. The first wheel is awareness or mindfulness. The second wheel is comfort. You need both wheels to spin together at the same rate as well. In fact, otherwise, if you have only one wheel, it will spin in circle. It wouldn't move forward. And that is actually the significance of how to be sabai. Because even there are other aspects of the Buddhist practices talk about equanimity. The Buddha has to practice 10 perfections in order to attain enlightenment, to become Buddha. And the last perfection is called equanimity, which is actually seems, doesn't seem to be the hardest. Being impassive, being impartial, remain not engaging and keeping it neutral. How hard can that be? But turns out that from the 10 perfections of the Buddha that he had to cultivate, the last one was equanimity. And that's when Lompoto Mashi explained in terms of the method of meditation that how we can remain disengaged from any experience, the thoughts, the distraction, as the great master only summarized in one word: to stop is the key to success, which is to stop engaging, to stop interacting, stop commenting, analyzing, and leave it completely still. Imagine if you have a hanging hanging bell, and if there is no force interacting with the bell, it will remain completely still. But when I push that, it keep moving. It will create motion. The mind is the same, that if we want to keep it still, we have to withdraw our engagement and interaction in order for the mind to can so that it can be still on its own. And that's actually one significant aspect of how consistency of that disengagement and this without interaction really can deepen experience. Especially sometimes that we have little time and we want to push for pushing the thoughts away to silence our mind because we think that we have limited time and we kind of jumps through the beginning of the preparation to get the body relaxation and all that. And sometimes we end up that 15-20 minutes and it feel agitated or frustrated. We didn't really get that state of calmness. That usually because we try to push our distractions away or force the mind to be still silence, and that's become agitation instead. And that is why at the beginning it may take slow, that you're taking the time to relax the body, to adjust the posture, to free up the mind. But all of this is to create the balance so that we can remain mindful without uh, unconsciously engaging with the thoughts or distraction. So that roughly the techniques that the method that we're going to be mentioning today. So the next part, I will just think it's good to just go to the practice so that we can uh, talk about it afterward with what we have prepared today. So let's start from stretching your body a bit. Stretch your neck, your shoulders, your arms, your legs to get adjusted to be very comfortable. Loosen up the tension in your muscle. Mm. Slowly close your eyes in the way that there is no tension at the corners of your eyes or on the eyeballs. Close the eyes gently is another important point that Longpo Masayo emphasized many times, because when the muscles around the eyes are relaxed, the rest of the body will be comfortable automatically. So let your eyes close in the way that your eyelashes softly touch one another, and slowly bring your attention here with yourself. Turn it to be with your body sensation. You can slowly adjust your sitting posture, the way you are at your seat, in the way that you can release your whole body's weight towards the gravity. The good posture should be the one that you don't have to resist, strain, or hold yourself against your nature. You should be able to completely release all controls and still remain very balanced at your seat. So slowly adjust your legs until your blood circulation can flow smoothly. Adjust both of your hands, place them upward on your lap with your shoulders drop and rest naturally. Observe a couple times until you feel settled at your seat. Then reinforce that relaxation by relieving the remaining tension from your whole body, especially with your face, from the forehead to your temples, from your eyes to your nose and cheeks. Relax all the way down to your hands and your feet. When the body is comfortable, it feels as if your whole body's weight is disappearing, and the whole body turns empty, hollow, like a balloon. Let your attention be with your body and your relaxation, so that your mind can slowly unwind. As your body is getting comfortable, you may turn your attention to your body senses. Observe the sound of your ambience, whatever is around. Feel yourself with the distance and the silence that is around you, the silence that envelops all around your whole being, the feeling of an empty space, feeling that you are there where you can completely free up your mind. Imagine that space expand all the way to the horizon, further away, where you can be by yourself, away from all matters and people, where you don't have to engage, to interact, or to deal with anyone, any demands or requests, where you can allow yourself to emerge with peace and serenity. Start your meditation with the feeling that you are just taking a holiday, where you don't really have to do anything, where you can allow yourself to fully rest without the need to be anywhere. And your mind will automatically relieve every matter, no matter what they are about. Take your time to let your mind slowly unwind with the feeling relax of your body and the feeling of an empty space around you that helps you to settle comfortably at your seat. Take a long, soft, and deep breath in, feeling the gentle in-breath goes down all the way to the deepest end around your center, and exhale. Breathe in, take it deeper down, all the way to the turning point inside your body, and exhale. Let's breathe again, deeply and gently, feeling it all the way to the end of your breath, and exhale. Let's keep the attention with the breathing for a while. When you are breathing in, feeling your breath going down, and when you are breathing out, allow the mind to be relieved softly and gently until your mind begins to unwind. You will find that relaxation and comfort slowly fill the whole body. At the same time, the mind feels relief as it's turning lighter, weightless, and free. The feeling spacious inside is when the mind relieves from any matters, engagements that it holds on. The more the mind is free, the easier it comes to stillness. So feel yourself in your space. Let it go as far as the horizon, with yourself breathing in and out very deeply, softly, until you feel very content with just the way you are. Then you may slowly and gently turn that attention down within and place it gently at the center where your breath ends. The center of the body is just like the home of our mind. So the feeling is as if the mind has returned after a long journey, and now that it has arrived at its home, it can leave everything behind and give itself a treatment, a rest that it long waits. So bring your attention back and lay it down where you find that inner comfort waiting. The rest is only to maintain the attention here without any other interaction as it goes. We may be distracted from time to time. It can be by our thoughts or by our surroundings. Each time that happens, turn it back to the relaxation of the body and all the way down to this point. Along the way, still feeling so relaxed and content. Sometimes you may find yourself feeling sleepy as your body and mind are more relaxing. When you notice the loss of consciousness, you may take the time to adjust, allow the eyes to open just a little so you have some sense of light to raise the bar of your attention and follow the same way with your attention return to the relaxation of yourself, to your space and to your center, until eventually the mind settles still without distraction, without sleepiness. It doesn't matter how many times we need to adjust. It's just like the two wheels on a transportation. They should move at the same rate. So the vehicle continues to move to proceed further as we calibrate the relaxation and awareness. We finally reach the point of balance where contentment fills the mind. So, and month at the end is all about keeping it still at the center until everything falls to where it should be, and it opens the way deeper beyond where the taste of inner peace is more delicate and refined. It comes automatically without the need to push, to force, or to act in any way. We maintain ourselves being aware of being conscious of the center's feeling with relaxation, and the rest of the journey shall happen on its own. Sometimes we may not used to the silence and stillness because our mind is like a fish that spends a lifetime living in the water. The fish doesn't even know that it is surrounded by water for the rest of its life. When it is taken out of the water, it struggles trying to get back, just like our mind, even though all matters and noises are really exhausting, yet our mind is used to it, always engaging. So when we leave it still, it struggles try to get back instead of dwell deeper in peace. So we may apply a technique to keep it occupied. You may visualize the image of the full moon, warm and bright, the radiant full moon is shining from where your mind is placed, where your attention is laid down. The soft, glowing moon radiate from your center space, the soothing brightness. Relax the whole body and the mind. The image you visualize doesn't have to be sharp or clear. It can be just a gentle awareness of its presence. Or if you find yourself feeling quiet at some point, then you may recite the mantra softly in your mind. It can be any words or phrases that you like to remind yourself, or it can be Samma Araham, Samma Araham, Samma Araham. Allow it to arise and echo from deep inside. The soothing sound of the mantra. It can also comes along with the feeling of the moon within yourself. Or if you find yourself being content with the stillness and the space inside, you can also leave your mind be. without any other engagement. Whatever happens, we shall remain still. We may be distracted or curious, yet we turn the attention back here to this point until the sound of the mantra fade out, the visualized image disappears or change to something else. We still remain with that inner comfort and peace at the center. All techniques, the transportation, they are just a vehicle that we employ. Even observing the peacefulness and calmness is also a technique of meditation until to one point that you suddenly be very conscious of yourself, of your consciousness. All the senses are gone, and you may feel like you are entering into a different dimension that suddenly everything falls silence. Everything is empty, but that void you feel actually has refined content because it feels so delicate. This is the feeling, unlike anything we know, how something feels empty, yet it is content. It doesn't feel void. Thus, when you pass the physical layer and be still with your consciousness, it may start to you, and it is common to be that way. Just keep turning it back here, back to the moon, back to the center, until when you don't need any kinds of techniques, you find yourself being so steadily still, right at the center of your mind, deep down within, with peace. Softly and gently, without engagement, without interaction, keep it steadily still, being soft and gentle. And eventually, you'll be able to find yourself staying still, to stop is the key to success. This is the summarize of the great master teaching. It can carry many depths of definition, from the physical engagement to all the way being impassive with our experience. At the same time, still remain very conscious of what's going on. You may find it hard at first not to engage, and that's because we spend the whole lifetime always engaging, always moving, until our mind no longer recognize what stillness and peace are like. So as we let our mind being introduced to the silence and stillness, it will get used to and be able to settle eventually. Our task is only to leave it free, steadily, still, soft, and gentle. Remind yourself of the full moon or the center's feeling or the mantra alongside with the moon. Samma Araham, Samma Araham, Samma Araham. Still with ease, let that feeling of peace take it away deeper And now that our mind settles still with peace, you may gently place your attention at the center of that peace inside and allow it to expand. Allow that feeling of peace inside of you expand further around. Very gently and comfortably let it keep radiating as we are sharing this feeling of peace further and further around, all the way to the horizon. Let it expand, reaching out to all creatures and beings as we are sharing that feeling of peace around. As you are feeling more comfortable to share this peace, let it fill the rest of your entire being as you slowly recognize the feelings of your face and your hands. As you slowly recognize your entire body, slowly take a long, soft, and deep breath in, and now breathe all the way down, and exhale, feeling yourself breathing in, and now Api Buddha Balapatta Paccekanan Jayang Palang Arahantanan Jate Chena Rakang Kantami Sapaso Sapa Buddha Nupavena Sapa Dhamma Nupavena Sapa Sangha Nupavena Sattha Soti Bhavantu Te. So now you may slowly open your eyes and stretch your body. And welcome back to the end of the meditation part. So I hope that you can get to feel content and still, and being able to remain with that feeling of peace that you slowly building it up or slowly cultivating as it goes by. Remember that consistency of that balance is actually one of the key to really get to that deeper point later on. So the next part is this. Okay. So, all right. So this is the what I prepare to share with you today. So let me see if it was ah, okay. So this is actually what I prepare to share with you today. It's called Gracing Virtues, or the principle of how to be graceful or to be modest. Actually, the translation of this Dhamma principle is even more sort of precise because it's actually called principle to be beautiful. It was actually one part of the Buddha's principle. But of course, let's start by what it means to be with the terms that we say beautiful. One time my master explained that there are four layers of beauty. And no matter who we are, these layers actually kind of very universal. The most external layers is, of course, the clothes and makeup. So when we put on different outfit, we put makeup on with good lighting, then we look great. But of course, as time goes by, we cannot hold on to that clothing and it keep changing. And that is actually the most external layers. They are not long lasting. The second is our own body, of course, our face, and it goes by age. We cannot hold our age back. So the longer, the older we get, the harder it is to hold on to that appearance of beauty. The third layer started to get closer, and that's what my master said. As long as we hold good manners and etiquette, a person who hold themselves very well, even though they could be, later on aging in their life, getting older, but still look very gracious and modest, and because of the manner. But the most important part is the core of the beauty, and that is the goodness, the kindness, the ethics, the morals that the person has within their heart and their mind. And that doesn't go by aged. So that beauty, the true beauty, actually comes from that set of the mind that holds morals and etiquette. The morals and etiquette. For the Dhamma of for beauty is actually come from these two principles that the Buddha used. The first one is the word kanti, and the second one is raja in Pali. The translation of kanti is actually what you probably have known and heard in different places before because it's quite common in many Dhamma principles as patience, forbearance, or endurance are one of the very first teachings that the Buddha said that it is the tools to eliminate defilements. And that's why the first principle, Dhamma principle for beauty or gracefulness is khanti or patience. But the second one that comes together with khanti is something that may be new to some of you because it's not mentioned many places except here. And that is actually the word saraja that translates as modesty or gentleness. So I will explain the meaning of these two a little bit in details. Let's start with patience or khanti. The word patience in Pali or in Buddhist context actually explained by the terms of being able to maintain or retain uh, whatever is coming to impact or influence us. Whether it's something that we displease whether it's something that it could be unpleasant, but we're still, rock solid, like a mountain that's still unshaken, or just like the earth, the floor, the ground, that no matter what is being put on, people can stumble on the ground, but it's still unshaken, it's still undisturbed. And that is actually the word patience in the context of Buddhism, that no matter what's going on, when we can be irritated, you know, we we are we are not going to end up doing this as you show on the screen, because when our mind is upset, when we lose the ability to be patient and angers or getting upset taking over, we end up having negative, words and actions as the process go through it. And that is why being patient is actually to be resilient and not uh, acting out of the anger or irritation that we have come across. So, how to remain patient, being patient. There are, of course, many aspects of how to be patient, but the very first one I would love to say that hold a reaction. Sometime I was asked about how to deal with the anger management, and that's actually start from it's not easy to eliminate anger. It's common for anyone to be upset. So if you upset from time to time, you're only a human being. There's nothing wrong with you. But at least as you realize you're getting upset, don't allow it to create any reactions. Don't let it dictate your actions afterward. So hold it. And with the delay time, eventually you'll be able to let that anger subside. And that, of course, all the way to whatever actions that we're going to be doing when we're getting upset, it must not create pain, whether it's for someone's feelings or physical. And the other two, ignore and let go, all the way to be pleasant, will be the latter stages that as we keep practicing more and more, we will eventually be able to find ourselves getting easier to be patient with whatever is going on. It becomes more resilient as it goes by. So the word khanti or tolerance or forbearance or patience also refer to four situations that we usually come across in life. The first one, of course, is the physical hardship. It could be sunny, it could be rainy. So whatever that displeases you or make you unpleasant, it could be just your surrounding. It could be too noisy, it could be too messy, but at the same time, we still doesn't let any of them disturb us or shaking our ground. The second things that we have to be patient with is our own body discomfort. It could be too sleepy, it could be too tired, whatever is going on, that we're always changing our mood. And that's the same thing. Number three is with people. As we go out there, there'll be people from different walks of life. And of course, everybody has different characters and habits and what they're going to be doing. There's talking, not always in line with how we like it. And that's, of course, not to let them disturb us and trigger that getting upset, so that we can remain calm and pleasant. And temptation, which is defilements. So defilements, our craving that always dictate our actions, is also we must be patient with. And that actually the word patience in Buddhism. Unlike the general concept of patience, that as long as don't show it, I suck it up. Eventually, that was, considered as being patient. But that type of patience, like you have an empty bucket, and each time you face someone that displeased you or unpleasant, it's like you got a piece of trash and you throw into the bin and you close the lid. And every single time you keep doing that. So if you keep pressing it down that way, one day that bin will be full, and you cannot even open it because it's spoiled. It's gonna smell terrible, right? So that's how we usually take the patience, as to kind of suppress everything down and try to keep it there, but eventually we get exploded. So Another the way to think of it is that when the Buddha explained it to be like the ground, it is because of whatever we bury under the ground, it can turn to be something positive. If you put all the trash under the ground, it becomes fertilizer. And of course, fertilizer will help the tree to grow, the flower to blossom. If you put a piece of carbon, speed of coal, into the ground through pressure and heat, it can turn into diamond. So that's what maybe another aspect of being patient is about. It's actually not by suppressing the feeling, but it's actually about how that we can always turn to look at something positive in the situation that we cannot choose or cannot avoid, so that we can still maintain our own feeling of peace, feeling pleasant wherever we go. And that will make us happier as on the daily basis. Because when we live our life every day, we cannot always choose what's going on, people that come to us, how people acting on me. I cannot choose it, right? It's just reality. But I can always choose how I would want to feel about it, how I want to interact with it. And that's why the word patience is to turn it to be something positive. With all of these situations as showing on the screen that always displease you, always upset you, always not in line with how you want it. And that's patience, quite simple. Suraja or modesty is actually another point that will explain in terms of these three things, being much gentle. Not only that I'm being patient, but every aspect of my action is actually very gentle towards people, toward activities, whether gentle with the way I think, the way I speak, the way I act. So being gentle in this sense also when meanings that being calm when facing difficulties and still remain that state of resilience and undisturbed with the calmness. Patience at first, there's still more like a kind of a little turbulence underneath, right? But at least I don't let that anger or getting difficulty, feeling irritated with difficulties dictate my actions. But this sense, Suraja is another step when we are able to be calm and still act on gently. Imagine if someone yelling at me, but I can respond calmly with a gentle voice, gentle sounds, and still control the situation mindfully without getting rattled by what's going on. And that's all the way to not exhibit any types of anger with it. That is actually what Saraja really mean. So the question would be how I can practice Saraja. So the first one, oopsie. Okay. So the first one is actually starting from mindfulness. The word mindfulness is actually what we talk about a lot because it starts from being mindful with what's going on so that I can actually understand what it's like what it's like to what is feel, what am I feeling at the moment, how what's going on with me, and how should I engage. Mindfulness is actually a state of being aware of what's going on at the moment. So constantly practicing mindfulness until becoming something as a part of you. So you can notice when your mood change, when something disturbs you, it's come out a bit more automatically. Second, focus on our positivity, something positive. I'm not trying to be naive about how the world is pleasant because it's not, to be honest. There are more unpleasant things than the pleasant things. And actually, there was a scientific explanation of how human mind can actually focus on negative thing easier than the positive things. Just, there was actually how we memorize the negative events better than the positive one. So if you look back into your life, think of something that people said to you that make you upset or feeling, you know, unhappy. You can actually remember everything that was said word for word, the situation, even the face of the person when they talk about it. You can actually pretty clear. But if you try to recall some of the memories and someone says something nice to you, it's kind of blurry, right? have to master our effort, because that actually from our brain, the way it's evolved, the survival mechanism actually cause us to register all the negative things that come into ourselves, so that we can create this protective mechanism from happening in the future. And that's why it's easier for human mind to go to the negative, to focus on the negative aspect of life rather than the positive one. But the moment we focus on something negative, we end up feeling guilty, shame, ruminations, worry, stress, and we cannot, we get unhappy about it. And that's why try to look for something positive, even something unpleasant happen in life. It's going through training of mindfulness. At first, I realized what's going on and I don't want to have it. Two, okay, let me change it to something that, even though I got stuck here, but I don't have to feel this way. I can feel differently if I turn attention somewhere else. And that's why I'm saying that I'm not trying to be naive that the world is pleasant. It's not. But the question would be, if I cannot choose where to be and what to do, how I can remain at peace with every situation. Because at the end of the day, that makes me happier. Of course, the last part, how to deal with anger. There is a sayings that explain your anger, don't express your anger, and you get a resolution, not argument. So that's actually another aspect of, when we are able to be patient at the same time being gentle, Kanti and Saraja as explained, and that is actually give us the ability to be on top of the issues, so we can slowly and gently explain it. Because when this disagreement or this argument comes up, if we drag it on, the more that we drag on, the more upset we will be. At the end of the day, we want to resolve them. We want to finally have some ending or some resolution that how to move on from this. That's a reality, right? So if we end up expressing anger, I don't know about you though. When I was before monk, I am not very calm and gentle person, as the guided meditation goes. I'm very hot-tempered person, and I realize that it's always like a volcano eruption. But the point being is that I realized that when I get upset, then the argument is not always about reason and logic. It's more like about win or lose. I can end up trying to be as painful and spiteful as I can, just to express it, just to win. And that's at the end, I don't really feel happy about the outcome, because it's not about finding the resolution. It's about winning over the other. And what's the point of that? So that is actually the Kanti Suraja, as I giving you the tips how to be beautiful. As I said, and as Long Paul explained, that the beauty is not actually just from the physical appearance, but it comes from within. And the Kasti Suraja, as Buddha explains, is a principle to be beautiful. So I hope that he gives you some tips how to maintain that state of being calm throughout your days and the next day, so that you can continue to practice meditation without much further disturbance. So a little information that from P. Sanders want me to show. So you can follow us on this platform in the way to keep yourself informed, whether from the website, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube channel, so that you can keep yourself informed. I think P. Sanders trying to upload some of the guided meditations up there as well from different teaching monks, so that you can keep up with your practice on your free time if you like to. So you can check out on this. And the other one is the upcoming activities that you can either look up on those platform already, and also some of the upcoming dates. I will give a number of the sessions and retreats. So they have mindfulness in different locations and different other months too. So there are quite a number of activities going around in English around Europe during this spring summer. So these are some of the activities that you can see on the screen. And um, The other one is my own channel. So this is uh, my Spotify, but I put the guided meditation down. So if you like to have it to listen to, feel free to check it out. The name is just my name, the Monk Pasara, and you know that thin looking avatar here that look just like me. And of course, the last one is also if you like the YouTube, is also pretty much the same name, just change the word Ra, and that is also the YouTube. Okay, I think the computer started to get crazy on me. So, okay. Yeah, the camera is dead because of the heat. So thank you very much for all the sharing of peace that we have together today. I hope you enjoy the sessions and take home with your practice for the next rest of the week. So have a lovely evening and see you next time. And ciao.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you, Pasura.